I'm going to share 4 listening skills with you to help you know what to say and what to do when people tell you their problems. You can learn these skills and use them anywhere, whether it be at work, at home, or when you find yourself having a chat anywhere in your community. Therapists learn these skills early in their training, and they use them every day when listening to clients. These skills aren't rocket science. Actually, they're pretty simple. But most people outside of the mental health and counselling sectors don't really know them because we aren't taught them and we never really see them in practice. Whilst they're simple, they go against a lot of our natural urges, say to jump into a conversation, or to talk about yourself, or to offer advice. They go against all of those urges, so whilst they're simple, remember they're going to take a lot of practice. But they really help the other person feel heard and help them sort out their own thinking. The first skill is to reflect back what they've said to you. To just listen without comment to what the other person is saying. To simply follow the sequence of events they're describing and then to reflect it back to them, or to rephrase it and say it back. For example, I might say, "So this happened to you, and then you experienced this, and then you did this as a result, and that was the reaction. Does that sound right?" Firstly, this shows the other person that you're actually listening, that you really care about what they're saying. Secondly, it forces you to turn down that part of your brain that wants to interrupt or offer advice. And it forces you to turn up the other part of your brain that's about empathy or understanding and compassion. And third, it gives you a chance to check that you're actually hearing things correctly. And it helps you clarify what the other person is saying. You can reflect back and be completely wrong. I can reflect things back as I've heard them, and I've totally missed the most important details out. Or what I thought was important is not actually important to the other person. Or it's this other bit that I just completely did not hear. So through the process of reflecting, you show that you care. You have to care just to be able to reflect. You also get to a shared understanding, and you get to overcome barriers in understanding. Reflecting back is the most important skill. Everything else that's talked about in this video is built upon reflecting back. You can't do the next 3 steps until you're able to rephrase the situation correctly. Skill number 2 is to ask the person, "What is that like for you?" It's best not to ask, "How does that make you feel?" as people generally have a hard time understanding what they feel. More than likely, they're so overwhelmed with so many different emotions that they don't even know what they feel. Or what's usually the case is people have a hard time putting words to emotions. That's part of why they go to see a therapist, to help sort out emotions. What you're really doing is just checking in to find out what's going on for them. Ask them how they're experiencing this. What's going on in your body right now as you're describing this? What's it like for you to go through this situation? When you describe this stuff, what's popping into your head? Was anything going on inside? These are the kind of questions to ask because you want to get to a place where you understand how this person is experiencing this event. Some people may experience something and they feel really sad. They feel a sense of loss or they feel shut down. Other people may go through the exact same experience and get really angry. They might get upset, want to hit something, want to break something. Other people may not experience anything in their body, but they may experience all of these thoughts. They might have trouble shutting their minds off. Wouldn't it be great if we could read minds? The best thing we can do is to ask this question. What was that like for you? How are you experiencing that? Could you describe what's going on for you? These questions get you the closest you can get to knowing what's going on for the other person. The third skill is validation. Validation assures the other person it's okay to feel the way they do. It helps them understand that what they're going through, what they're experiencing, makes sense given the situation that they've been in. You might say something like, "If I'd gone through what you've gone through, I'd probably feel like you do. It makes so much sense that you're so upset." You can always find a way to validate the experience of another person, even if you don't agree with it. The emotions they feel are real for them. Whether or not they make any sense to you, it is what the other person is experiencing. The acceptance of their emotions and experience gives them permission to be who they are, which in itself can be all that's needed to relieve their anxious thoughts. Sometimes validation alone is enough to help a person overcome their struggles. There's always a reason someone experiences something the way they do. The things that have happened in our lives make us who we are. So it is our authentic experience. Find a way to validate it. If you're able to do that, you show you've been listening and that you care. Validation's not the same as approving the behaviour or experiences of another person. It's not saying, "It's really great that you punched that hole in your wall when you got so angry." It's not saying that's a good thing, but it is saying, "I get it. I understand that you were really upset, that you were really angry at what happened. If I was that upset or that angry, I may have felt like punching something too." The fourth skill is to explore a person's mixed feelings. In most situations, there's a for and against, or a perceived right or wrong. A person struggles to make a change or make a decision because they're honestly torn between two opposing options or two totally different paths. Often in the process of being listened to and having someone understand their internal struggle, you give them the space to hear themselves and to sort out their own pros and cons. And what most people want to do here is to jump in and give advice. Your role is simply to listen, not to counsel, not to judge, and not to give advice. These four skills are the listening skills a therapist uses before they even start to help someone make a change in their life. Again, they sound simple, but they're really hard to do in practice because many strong emotions will be coming up for you when you're listening to someone else. You might want to start judging them. You might want to jump immediately in and give your opinion or give your advice. But when that happens, pause. Remember your rave listening skills, and over time you'll see these listening skills will get easier and you'll see great benefits. When you listen and understand where a person's at, you may be able to suggest relevant options to help deal with their situations. It might be a referral to a professional to talk with or a support service. It's a good idea to have some brochures or support information on hand. We can be assured when we listen using these four skills, we've offered our time and support in the best possible way. Their problem is not our problem to fix. By listening in this way, we've helped them see their situation in a clearer light, which in turn helps them clarify where they're at and what they want to do about it. They may want to change, they may not want to change, they might want to do nothing. All of these are valid options. If you talk with people often, it can be hard to disconnect from the things you hear. These skills and offering referrals are the best things we can do to support our families, our communities, and ourselves.